Now today I'm going to show you how to paint a very easy and simple fun wolf silhouette in watercolour. Let's get the brushes wet and let's get started. Okay, here we go. First colour, Winsor Lemon. Now you can use whatever colours that you want to use for this. Anything that's really bright will work really well. So pop that into your palette. You don't need too much, but that obviously depends on how big you want the painting to be. Then we're going to go for Cerulean Blue, or Cerulean Blue, depends how you pronounce it. So we'll pop that one in the palette as well. Then we're going to go for Cadmium Orange Hue. Now the word hue basically means colour, but because it's a hue it indicates it's a modern pigment that's been used instead of a traditional pigment within the manufacturing process of the paint colour. Carefully put the cap back on, and I'm going to go for Carmine. Now Carmine's a bright red, but can use Cadmium Red instead if you want to. Then there's Intense Blue, or Phthalo Blue, whichever one you want to use. But again, I'm looking for bright blue, any bright colours really. I still need to dullen it down in places as well. So using my pipette, I'm going to water these down a little bit as well, more of a sort of milky consistency. Now I'm going to use my Faber-Castell eraser. Now this is a putty eraser, so very malleable as well. You can stretch and pull and kind of move it around. I'm going to use this, just take off any residual pencil on that paper. Because what will happen if you don't take any residual pencil off is that will then mix in with the paints. Okay, but you just want to take off enough so you can just see the outline. And then we've got two brushes I'm going to use. Now this is a Paul Rubens. It's a series Esprit 818 size number 4. And this is more of a mop brush really. It's quite a nice brush really, I must admit. And the other one I will use is a Golden Maple Master 1 Finest Sable size 4. Okay, quite a nice brush as well. So really that gives me a choice of a mop brush as well as a detail brush. I mean size 4 is quite large for my detail brushes. So the first thing you need to do is wet the paper. Now I like to wet the paper 2 or 3 times because at least that way around it's going to stay wetter that little bit longer as well for you. Now I've got a little block of wood here with some anti-slip covering on it. And because my normal painting surface is on a bit of an angle, I want to make sure that my painting is level. So by popping this under one corner, that should level it out for me. Now you can also see that I've got quite a lot of water on the paper, but I want to see the texture of that paper as well. If you can't see the texture and the water's floating on the surface like this lot, so a little bit floaty on there still, then you find the paint will just run everywhere. Now the paint will only flow where the paper is wet, which is well worth knowing, okay? So you need a little bit of wetness there so the paint will move around on the paper. Now we'll start off with our lovely colour of Winsor Lemon. And then very lightly tap this on the paper just in random places. Don't be too particular with it. But leave plenty of gaps so we've got areas where we can drop the other colours in as well. Let's go for a little bit of our orange colour, which is the Cadmium Orange Hue. I'm going to drop this one in next. So I want a bit of warmth in there, okay. Now you can have this really dark, and if you want it blacks and blues, anything like that you can do. So if you want a very dark kind of silhouetted image. I want something really colourful like this. And by tapping this around and kind of varying those colours around a little bit, it's going to give it a bit of a kind of colourful vibe to it as well. Then the Carmine, or any bright red that you've got. I mean, this is a lovely colour. Look at the way it flows on the paper. Just by tapping in small places here and there. Try not to fill it all up. Then we'll go for the Intense Blue, which will darken certain areas. I don't want all of it to be bright, to be honest with you. I want some areas to be bright and some areas to be duller, a little bit darker, that sort of thing. So go very tight towards the edge, and don't forget we've also got our detail brush we can use as well around here, and I'll show you that in a minute. Now if you do like this video, remember to click on that subscribe button down below, and also click on like as well. At least that way around, when I produce a brand new video here on YouTube, there's a good chance you won't miss it. So if you move it around, move your board around, this is really good fun as well. So you can really play with the paint on the wet paper there. So by tipping the board left and right, moving that paint back and forth as well will really help. Then you can switch to your detail brush, and by pulling out some of the paint from the inside of the wolf, you can create some like fur effects on the very edge of the wolf itself. Do this on the inside out, at least that way around you get a nice tapered feel to the lines as well. And also I'm using nearly a dry brush to be able to do this to begin with, so I'm just literally pulling the paint from the wolf and moving it around as I'm doing so. Now because I'm left-handed, I've got to turn the board around to paint the other side. But if you're right-handed, you have to do it the opposite way around. So turning that board around will, one, allow the paint to mix more on the paper, but also make it easier for your hand to get in the right position to be able to pull out these fine lines. Overlap some of these lines in places as well so they're not all going the same direction, and keep them fairly short. Now again, it depends on the subject that you've chosen to be able to do your painting. But what I'll do, I'll put a little link down below for you for where this photograph is on Pixabay. At least then you can have a go at the same picture yourself if you want to. So this is where you can fine tune the edge, just by going around the edge with your detail brush or any kind of decent fine tip brush that you've got within your painting kit. Okay, place a few little extra hairs here and there as well, then start to move that paint around a little bit more. Okay, let's dry the brush a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to get my kitchen roll all folded up, and I can slightly lift off some of the overrun of paint there. See how it's all kind of pooling up at the bottom? And by doing so, it just kind of lifts off a little bit of paint here and there. Get a fresh piece of kitchen roll as well, keep moving that kitchen roll around. Just very lightly tap off some areas, especially where the paper's warped in the middle there, look. And that also helps as well. Then you can start on any other areas that you want to fill in. So I'm going to whiz ahead now and paint all these little birds in, using a variety of colours along the way. Now as you can imagine, we can go through a variety of different subject matters to paint something like this. And the beauty about that is that you can really vary it if you want to. So you can imagine something like a deer silhouetted against the skyline, or a cat playing with a ball, or even an owl on a branch of a tree. Anything like that will be perfect for this subject, and many more options out there as well. Try to really think about the colours you want to use for this as well, for the small little birds if you're painting this one. So thinking about what colours will mix with others. So I'm using something like yellow, orange and red. Maybe a little bit of blue near the yellow so that then turn green. So play with the colours, play with different ideas and combinations that you've got. Now very carefully lift off the masking tape and always pull away from the painting. At least that way around, if it's going to tear that paper, it's going to tear away and not into the painting, isn't it? Another little tip as well for you is that if you think that the tape might tear the paper, get a hairdryer or a little heat gun, anything like that, give it a bit of warmth from a distance, waving it back and forth, then very lightly pull that off, because what will happen then, it will slowly start to kind of loosen that adhesive on that tape. Okay, and then all you need to do then is erase any little pencil marks you can see around the edge. But there's even more you can do with this as well if you wanted to. You could sign your name over the top of it if you want, put a little message there for a friend or loved one, and make it into a greetings card or a little note card for them as well. Now if you are interested in painting another silhouette, but this time of a bird on a teasel, and also by incorporating a background as well, have a look at the link to the top right, okay? I'll see you there.